When they saw the land, they saw it through the eyes of the word. They saw it through the eyes of what their father said. Caleb and Joshua, they saw it.
Sorry.
That it was attainable. Yeah, there are high walls. There are fortified walls. And that's great because God said it's ours. So now those are our walls. Those are the walls that's going to protect us. But to those who didn't go with the word of God, they just went with their physical eyes. They said, how are we going to get over those walls? Those walls are impenetrable.
Daddy, look behind you.
But those in spirit, seeing through the eyes of the word, they say, man, what a city that has already been built and prepared for me. The Lord did promise me houses that I didn't build. He did promise me walls that I didn't have to fortify. He did promise me grapes that I didn't have to plant. He did promise me these things. And whoop, there it is.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
So those that were in spirit, in the word, they got excited. Out of the 12, 2 of them was in the word. What happens when all of us are in the word? All of us are seeing in spirit. What happens, honey love, when you and I are the two that sin? What happens? So they go back. The two said, whoa, the land is good. The grapes, look at these big grapes, sweet to the taste. Oh, the walls are high. This is going to be a good city for us. Everything's already laid out. The houses are brand new. We don't even got to bring our raggedy furniture that's been in the desert. The house is already furnished. Everything is set in order. The two didn't even talk about the guys. They couldn't even see the giants in the land. All they saw was their possession. But those who are not in the word, oh, they gonna see the giants in the land. And they are going to miss out. Look at all these people that missed out. Look at all these people that were in covenant with God that missed out.
Hebrews 4.
Because they did not submit to the word. Because they did not obey God. Because they wanted to look with their physical eyes and they wanted to move in their feelings. But God said, this year is the year of abundance. This is the year of extravagant provisions. This is the year. So it's time out for playing ourselves. We can't play ourselves. We got to get in line and submit to the will of God. We got to get in line and submit to the word of God. Oh, my honey love may not have the right attitude, but I better make sure I have the right attitude. My kids may not, but I got to make sure I've got the right attitude. Oh, your husband may not have, but you make sure You got the right attitude. Oh, everybody else ain't listening, but you girls make sure you listen. Because what God has for us, Canaan is dripping. God sent them right at harvest time. Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. You get to the land right at harvest time. Grapes are ready. Everything is ready. And all you need to do is see through the eyes of your Father, which is to see through the eyes of the Word, which is to see what belongs to you. Because the enemy is always going to be there. He says he prepares the table before us in the presence of our enemies, but he didn't invite us to the table to start counting the enemy. No, he invited us to the table to notice the steam coming from the cheesy grits and to notice how lovely the onions look in the eggs. To notice how the bacon is perfectly crispy. Notice how the oxtails ain't fatty, but they gummy. Notice how the curry goat is sumptuously cooked. Peas and rice, perfect. He invited us to the table to eat. Not to count no enemy. He told us in Psalm 68, he says the enemy is like smoke to the wind, like wax to fire. So if he told us that the giants in the land are like ants to you, you crush ants. It don't matter. It could be 1,000 ants. It could be 1,000,000 ants. What you do? You crush them. But if you're not in the Word, you're not going to see your possession. You're going to see the giants. Mm-hmm. And just like Israel, just like the people of covenant, God did all of that. You understand? 10 plagues. Do you understand? You understand how hurt God could be to do all of that and have his children die without inheritance? You know how a father would feel? To turn sticks into snakes, sand into lice. Frogs come out of the water. Locusts cover the land. Day is turned to pitch black night. So pitch black you can feel it. Fire and brimstone from the sky. He annihilates the enemy, takes their firstborn, takes their cattle, and then he says, now, enemy, give my kids everything.
Spoil them.
Because I'm sending them to possess their possession now.
Now, that's what I call spoiled rotten right there.
And his children go to the land that he says, I've given you. And they look at the enemy that he told them he's already dealt with, instead of looking at their possession. You You know how God must have felt? Well, imagine how God feels now. Because that's exactly what's going on right now in 2020. God says this is the year of abundance, the year of increase, exceeding, extravagant, overflow, superfluous, splendiferous, magnanimous.
Get that piece of paper from him, please.
Overflow. And you gonna let what it look like. You gonna talk about COVID-19 instead of Psalms 19. He said, sing psalms and spiritual hymns. He says, rejoice in me. When you know what God says, when you know who God is, when you know what the enemy, what he says about the enemy, Psalm 68, he said, you arise, armor up, belt the truth around your waist, holding the breastplate of righteousness in place, feet fitted with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, helmet of salvation, sword of the spirit, praying with all prayer and supplication. You talking to me always. I'm giving you the play. You ain't got to think about what to do next. I'm giving you step by step. Then what you praying for? Run the play. Run the play. That's the word of God. Run it. And get what God has desired, has designed, has purposed for you to receive. He said, arise, get up. G-E-T-U-P, God exposes the ultimate purpose when we get up. Let God arise. And let his enemy be scattered. Good job, Papa.